Good evening, everyone. So it's a big day for me, and today we are here to talk and discuss about power of listening. So today's guests are very special and dear to me, and I have been working with them for more than a year now. So I know them for more than a year. Uh, Before that, I would like to make you understand that today why we are here. Today's topic is something really different, and we were thinking of a different topic altogether to discuss that what is important, and in today's world, what is that one thing which is really people need to know. So today's topic is power of listening. And if I tell about listening as a definition of listening, it is the process of receiving and constructing meaning from and responding to the spoken words or the non-verbal messages. Or you can say to hear something which is thoughtful attention. Okay, if you are able to hear with the thoughtful attention, it is nothing than a listening skill. Now there are two ways of having the effective communication. Now it depends what two ways of having the effective communication you can have. If you understand one thing, that there is something called listening and there is something called hearing. Now let's discuss and learn what is listening and what is hearing. Now we will discuss all these topics in a while. Before that, I would like to introduce my two uh, co panelists, and I would like to call upon first Suparna and
Hello, good
Kushi.
evening.
Hello, everybody. Good evening.
Good evening. So, Suparna, can you please tell me something about yourself and our audience to know what you do and what is your passion?
Dear friends, I am a professor of marketing currently. I teach MBA students, but the larger part of my life has been with the advertising world across various cities of India. So, advertising and communication is somehow uh, deep down into my blood. And today I teach the application part of it to the students. But my passion has and will always be in the format of a speaker. Right from my first speech, probably was when I was in my third standard, when I gave my first elocution. And in those days, I'm talking about long, long back. So in those days, Nehru, uh, a talk on Chacha Nehru on 14th November. That was my first speech to a school of 1200 odd. And from then on, yes, I've been speaking on various formats. And that's my passion. Today, also, my passion is uh, where I understand that the youth of today, the youngsters of today, the young executives of today need to know a lot about themselves. And so I speak to them on various forums. This is my passion today. And I do run a small dialogue called I Love Myself. Yeah.
Great,
Thank you.
great. That's really awesome to hear from you, Suparna. Kushi,
Yeah.
can I, for my audience and for the people, can we have your small introduction from your own mouth,
Yeah.
please?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Khushi. I'm a happypreneur and I'm a happiness coach. By profession, I'm a makeup artist and I have an event management company. But by passion, I love helping people, I love serving people, and I love spreading happiness. And off late, I'm an author of a book called Khushi Unlimited, and I'm really excited about it. And I really like helping people lead a very happy and fulfilled life because when I started off on this journey, I did not have a a life filled with happiness and joy. And I was in distress and despair, and I didn't have anybody to reach out for help. And that is the reason why I wanted to overcome my situation then, and wanted to help a lot of people who were in despair, who were frustrated, who were in sorrow, and reach out to them and be there for them. And that is how I got into coaching as of now. That is about me, Rahil.
Great. Thank you so much, Khushi. So, if we are ready, we can start the session. And I will, before starting the real session and question and answer round for you both, I would like to tell something, a little fact about listening. So, ladies and gentlemen, need to understand one thing, that there is something called listening skill, and the listening skill, usually we tend to listen from 125 words to 250 words per minute in a normal time. But the thinking capacity of a human being is almost around 1000 to 3000 words per minute. So you can understand there is a large way of, from thinking to listening to the skill has a different of a huge gap is there. So apart from that, I just want to tell one thing, that there is 75% of the time we usually get distracted. We don't, listen to a person. We get preoccupied. Sometimes we forget. So many a times it happens like that. So 20% of the time only we remember what we hear. Usually one of the study says that 35% of the businesses, they remember and they think that listening is one of the top skill for any person in the industry. They should and they must have it. And according to one of the another research, it says that only 2% of the population which is there in the industry go for a formal education or learn something called listening skill. Now, over to Suparna. I would like to ask you one question, that according to you, how do you think listening is very different from hearing?
Okay, Rahil, I'll take from the words that you were speaking just now, that when we hear, we comprehend a certain amount of words, 25 to 30, but our thinking power, our brain is many, many fold faster than what we are actually hearing. The problem is that most of the times we hear, we do not listen. There's a big difference between hearing and listening. Hearing is, I can hear my daughter in the next room. Yeah. I can hear my son playing his piano in the last room. I can hear that there is a friend who is opening the door down the corridor. Right? I'm not listening to them. I'm hearing to them. It just pours into my nervous system through my eardrums. There is no need to listen to it. It is an automated nervous system process that we human beings automatically comprehend. Now, listening is far, far, far ahead of this. Listening has got some basic characteristics. First and foremost is that you need to have lots and lots and lots of respect for your own self and for the other person who is trying to talk to you. You do not want to hear them. You want to listen to them. So when a person is trying to tell you something, you are actually full with your mind, body, heart, and soul trying to listen to that person. Let me give you a small example. Because I come from the advertising world, I can pick up a lot of examples of this. As Rahil was telling clients, clients want that the people should listen to them. As an advertising agency, when a client sits and gives us a brief, they tell we want to do a campaign across India or across South of India or across North of India, pan India. And we know their product because they are our clients. Okay, this is my product and I want to do it. Let me go down and specifically tell you about a very, very unromantic product, fertilizers. This is way back in Ahmedabad when I was there. Fertilizers, Gujarat Narmada Valley Corporation, GNFC, was our client. And as usual, the head honchos were sitting and telling us, is bar we'll spend about 1 crore on print media, 3 crores on this media, that, and that all. And they were giving us the brief. We heard the brief. We came back and we went and presented. And then they said, this is not what we expected. Then the question was, so many man hours lost, okay, in preparing the entire campaign. We work for 15 days. Senior people get involved into that. That means man-hour cost is involved. We go and we talk to them, and then we understand they didn't like it. Friends, this is where listening comes, right? I was a very young girl at that point of time, hardly 3 or 4 years into my advertising life. And at that, but still I was there in the presentation, which was my luck. And I told my creative director, who was almost 20 years senior to me, I said, ask them for a second chance. We'll come back to them, you know. And my creative director looked at my face and said, what are you talking? You just joined us. I said, tell them that. That's all. You don't want to tell? I'll tell it. So I stood up and said that in front of my managing director, sir, give us just about a week's time and come back to you. But I want to sit with your general manager marketing myself, just one person. And the gentleman poured his heart out with me, and I didn't want any seniors with me. So I was listening to him. The corporation, the fertilizer corporation, reaching out to millions of farmers in India. What do the farmers feel about their fertilizer? How much their livelihood is dependent on their fertilizer? How much they're dependent on the weather forecast from this fertilizer company? So you see, an entire livelihood, a life of a farmer is dependent on them. It is just not selling urea. It is just not selling fertilizers for rice, for wheat, for groundnut, blah, 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 blah. Now, these are cash crops of India, right? So when I came back, I had to travel to a place called Bharuch, and I used to stay in Ahmedabad. I went there and I came back, and when I created my creative brief, my creative director said, get it approved by the managing director. I said, okay, fair enough. I went there, I explained to him, and he, my luck, said, okay, go ahead. And do you know what was the campaign that we made? We made the farmer and his dog. We made the farmer and his sheep, his best friends who will take care of the crop. Like हमारे north में, south में, we have dogs, you know, they run, the scarecrow, right?
True.
So that on a ripe field, the birds don't settle and eat. And when we presented that in black and white, mind it, when we presented that in black and white, it just got approved. Nobody spoke anything. An entire team of our end went there. The managing director of GNFC stood up and asked, how did you change this? I still remember my words. I said, sir, I listened to the GM. This is the difference. When the first time we heard the brief, we were commercially connecting 4 crores, 1 crore into this, 3 crores into that. Okay, 4 crores business must happen. Now we are all overpowered with the fact that business must happen. We are not reading in between the lines. We are not finding out the empathy of the organization. We are not finding out what is the ultimate soul belief and trust of the farmer, right? This is the difference between hearing and listening. I have got a number of examples, but let's carry on. Tell me.
Amazing, amazing. So that's really, very well explained, I can say. I can say one thing, that we must participate in the process of listening. So that is one important thing which I can learn from your the answer which you have given about hearing and the listening. Because hearing is something physical process, and listening is a mental, or you can say active process, which is required to do with thinking. So thinking is really involved in listening than hearing. So that's the difference, what we can say. Okay. So Khushi, so if I ask you, how do you think that it is important to listen to our child? Or you can say, we have a kid at home, and they are uh, telling something to us, but many a times what happens that we don't listen to them. We just hear and we say something, and we always tend to ignore them a lot of times. So why do you think that? Why is listening important in this matter?
Yeah. So a very good question, Rahil. So I have two children at home, okay, and even I sometimes miss out on spending quality time on them because I have to manage my professional life and my personal life and cooking and everything else. So it's very important as a parent to spend quality time with your children. It is very important to listen to his emotions, to listen to what he has to say on a day to day basis. Because it's such an important thing to build a bond between you and your child. Only if you listen to him, if you put yourself into his shoes and empathize with him, learn to not be judgmental about his feelings and not criticize him, but motivate him, encourage him, whatever may it be right or wrong. But your words matter and what you say to your child matters. And if you listen to your child and if your child is heard, he will definitely be a better listener once he is an adult. Once he grows up, he will learn to be patient, to listen to other people's feelings, be aware of other people's feelings. And that is such an important thing. So a few tips I would like to give to all you parents who are present here on this virtual event is that take out at least 15 to 20 minutes of that quality time to be spent with your children, that at least you have a touch with what I always tell parents, that it's not your presence, that presence that matters. It is presence that matters. It is your presence that matters. And when you're present with your child, fully mentally present, emotionally attached to your child, and only when you listen does your child get emotionally attached to you. And it's very important to have that kind of a bond these days, because touch, human touch is lacking. A lot of technology, a lot of social media tends to take away this human touch from our children. And it's very important on a day-to-day basis to listen to your child and to make sure your child listens to you. It's both the ways. Even you share your feelings with your child. Make sure he listens to you. He understands you. Even if you're busy, you go to him and you tell him that this is how my day went. I'm really sorry. I couldn't spend time with you. Whatever it is, make sure that you at least have that kind of a bonding with your child, because I can't tell you how important listening and communication is. It is not only listening, but having a good bond, having a great communication with your child. And remember that a child is an adult with a small body. He is as mature as you are. He's as understandable as you are. He's as, smart as you are. So always remember, and you're his role model. So remember that what you do will really matter. And if you are someone who really listens to people, empathizes with people, is compassionate, is kind, he will definitely learn these values in life, and it's definitely going to be helpful for him.
Amazing. That's
can
really,
I add to that?
Yes,
Can I
yes,
add,
Suparna.
can I add to that?
Yeah.
When you have children who are grown up adults, okay, young executives, the treatment is somewhere to tell that I am there with you, because most of the time they live in their own world, their world which encompasses of their work primarily. I'm seeing the youth today more and more looking towards making a credible stand for them. Okay, so these people, ek zamana tha, there was a time when boyfriends, girlfriends were very important. Now that age has come down to preteen. In our times, it used to be when you were graduating at that point of time. But now, today, the young ones who are graduating and getting into post-graduation and into jobs, now these people have overcome that kind of a thought process. Now they want to be economically independent, right? Now, a job of a parent, Khushi, I'm adding to what you are trying to tell to our audience. The job of a parent at that point of time, when your young son or daughter is stepping out into this big bad world and wants to be economically independent, wants to earn his own credibility is just to tell, hey, buddy, I am there. I'm no more a parent then. I become a friend. I have to become a friend. Once in a while, I can become a parent. I can demand information once in a while. But most of the time, by the time they are 5 years, 6 years into their job arena, they would have created their own credibility. They would have earned their own money. Their thought processes would have changed. They are more into कि इसके आगे हम क्या करें? Within our company, with who is my ladder? Where can I hitch my career? Now, to this group of people who, on one hand, there is a pressure to perform, friends. Okay? And there is an internal pressure from parents, there is an external pressure from office, colleagues, and peers that you have to do well. Here, most important listening is listen to non-verbal communication.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right.
चुपचाप बैठे हैं बच्चे. They are quiet. You call them, they're not
Absolutely.
picking phones. Right? You call them, they tell, I'll call you back, wait. Okay? You're trying to, they're in a different city, or they are right sitting in the next room, but you go to talk to them, they're not ready to talk. You can see them from 20 feet apart. You will have to learn to understand those non-verbal communications, which are loud and bold. Very loud, very bold. But most of the times as parents, what we try to do is, we try to get into that space. Right?
True.
We try to get into that. We think we are trying to help them, but we are not helping them, dear friends. We want to listen to them, give them time, give them space. If, as Khushi said, if you are able to communicate with them right from their childhood,
Yeah.
and tell them that I am there, we are there, they will talk to you. There is no way that they can go out of that way, but depends how have you built that relation from the time when the child was 5 years old. 5.
Absolutely. Yeah.
5 is the time when the 5th year, the walk from the 4th to the 6th year, these 24 months, dear friends, your brain is working, developing at the maximum speed. These 24 months. And तब हम बोलते हैं बच्चे हैं, बच्चे हैं, बच्चे हैं. Forget these words. Forget these words. Give them responsibility. Tell them you are responsible. And then make them walk. You move about. हट जाओ वहां से. Move out.
Absolutely.
But keep
Absolutely.
listening to them. Listen. So I just wanted
Absolutely.
to tell
I
this
can.
because when you have older children at home, the way you need to listen to them is slightly different. I hope I've made myself clear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, I think this was really, I can relate so much with you because my daughter is 5 years old now, and the kind of understanding of things she has, and I can say sometimes I misjudge her, and I think I underestimate her in some of the facts. Uh, but I don't tell this to her. I don't tell that I misjudged you, or I underestimated you. But most of the times, what happens is we parents also we think that okay, इसको क्या मालूम होगा? This is a kid. I mean, she will not know. He will not know. But then after when you say something, the kind of response I get, I was shocked, and I don't want to exaggerate about it, but that's true. I mean, I can truly relate with your thing. So, I mean, about the communication when Kushi was talking about, I just wanted to say that there is some research which also says that most of the times listening skill is almost 45% of the time which we have to do, and speaking is almost 30%, and then reading skill what we have it in our life is almost 16% of the time, and writing is 9%. So the major part still goes with the listening. It's almost like 45 to 50% is listening skill, which is really important in any kind of business or your life or your personal life, anything. So it matters a lot. I mean, listening is important everywhere. Okay, so great. Um, if I may ask you, Suparna, why do you think that listening to non-verbal communication is important, and why we should have non-verbal communication a lot of times when we are not talking but we are having a non-verbal communication, which is making them understand, making people understand. How can we do that? So what is your take on that?
I will start from the negative route and go to the positive part of it. Okay.
Okay.
It becomes easier for us to understand. That's the reason.
Yeah.
Positive will sound like Gyan. Negative is examples. So
Sure.
the negative part of it. Okay. Sushant Singh Rajput. The boy just goes and kills himself. Today, Facebook, Instagram is loaded with information that everybody knew about what he was going
True.
through, right? Then why
True.
is that nobody stood by him, not even his girlfriend, right? When you know the person is giving you non-verbal things that, hey, I am not well, I am getting secluded, I don't want to mix with anybody. This is what we are reading na today. हम यही तो पढ़ रहे हैं. That these were his last few 6 months, few 3 months, that his behavior had changed. But we never
Yeah.
took that into notice. Thinking he is a successful actor, okay? He's got enough amount of money, he's got enough amount of affairs in life, so चलेगा, चलता रहेगा, actor की जिंदगी है. But we could not catch those small little things in life. One negative example. Second negative example, let me tell you, which happens in each and every one of our lives. When we join a new job, friends, I have changed 13 jobs in my life. Okay. So I know it very, very well. A little humor doesn't mind. Okay. So this is my 14th job. Okay. So when you join into a new office, within few minutes, you will come to know which person with whom you can talk and with whom you are thinking to talk and whom
Yeah.
you do not want to talk to. Half
Absolutely.
a day is more than enough to understand that. The
True.
way you are welcomed into the organization from the moment you open the door and get in, non-verbal communication is prevalent. Absolutely, strongly prevalent. In a group, you will see some people are very curious about you. You can make out from their look, who's this lady who has come suddenly? Something like that. Let me give you my own example. Why pull Sushant into it? I do not have a PhD. I have been into corporate life all my life. Okay. So when I walk into a MBA class, right? So the students, first of all, they don't see a doctor in front of my name, right? So there's a lot of hostility in the class. You see, when they see Dr. Suparna Ghoshal, suddenly it becomes a leap jump in education, right? So when they don't see that, then I have to stand there because I'm getting that non-verbal communication that telling that, hey, who the hell are you, yaar? Okay, ab ho kaun, kind of a thing. I have to wait. I have to calm. I personally have to calm down, right? I have to make eye contact with few people. I have to see that at least 25% of the people I have made eye contact. And then I start telling my story with little humor here and there. Then the class cools down. So you see, this non-verbal communication is so very important. But at that point of time, if me as a candidate, I buckle down, friends, I lose the game. As simple as that. So
True.
the positive part of it is, one, two sides of the same coin. We must learn to read non-verbal communication. We must learn to absorb non-verbal communication also. Most of the time, people do not want to say what they actually have in their heart. हम बोल नहीं पाते हैं, उसको हम गार्ब करते हैं, mollycoddle करते हैं. We put it in sugary coats and then talk to the world. Very, very, very few people are there who will tell, "Sala डूब मरो तुमको कुछ नहीं आता." Very few people, but I have seen such kind of people. I have seen, right? But those people are authentic people because वही आएंगे आपको खींच के निकालने के लिए. They are your saviors because they've got the guts, the grit to tell you the truth. And they're the ones who will save you. When I was in my MSc classes, I used to be a very quiet girl, okay? Because most of my class was from Mumbai, somewhere from Hyderabad, somewhere from here. I was the only candidate from Gujarat. I was in Gujarat at that point of time. So, हम दबे दबे से रहते थे, बाकी दुनिया एकदम हाई फाई, ठीक है. So we used to have a very good PhD scholar with us. His name was Kalpit Vora. Kalpit used to come to the class to take our labs, genetic labs. Okay, so I used to do my MSc in microbiology, by the way, microbiology biotechnology. So he used to come for our genetic labs. One day he said, "वो लड़की उस कोने में कभी नहीं बोलती. She is the most dangerous one. Be careful." So I walked up to him and I said, "What made you give that comment? Can you please elucidate?" He said, "देखो जब तक ना आप बोलोगे तब तक हमें पता नहीं चलेगा कि आपको क्या चाहिए. लेकिन इतना हम ऑब्जर्व कर रहे हुए हैं कि you are there in the class, you are attending the class, but you are not opening up, lady. You need to open up. There is a problem." And I told him, "The problem is I feel मैं गंवार हूँ." He said, "What the hell?" लेकिन because he instigated me negatively in an open lab, I made up that courage to go and ask him, "Hey buddy, why did you tell this?" And then I realized, "Sahi to hai. Why should I not speak?" See, he read my non-verbal communication. I picked up the clue. He was picking my clue for 2-3 months. Why is this girl not speaking? If I had not opened up that day, I would not have friends with them. I would have just graduated, post-graduated out with flying colors, but I would not have understood what life is all about. So understanding non-verbal communication is extremely important, Rahil, extremely important.
Absolutely. So that was really, very insightful. In fact, I can say there are there are some bad habits which we have for listening. Uh, when we listen, we do a lot of criticizing for the speaker. We self-evaluate inside our mind. We do we get over stimulated with our chemical locha in the brain, and we think that what is this person talking about. And many a times we are always distracted. We are not listening to the people. We are just uh, listening for the facts. We are not listening them with our complete mind. And many a times what happens is, there is a lot of emotional word blockage in our when we are talking. This emotional block which is there in our mind, we don't give full attention to them. So that's many a times it's a barrier, or you can say a bad habit for us. So a lot of us, we do these mistakes. Okay, so this was really interesting to know. If I ask you, Kushi, what do you think that how uh, effective listening can improve the relationship? If I ask you a effective listening skill, I mean improving our listening skill, how it can help in our relationship, any kind of relationship. It can be colleague to colleague, it can be colleague to boss, or it can be wife to husband, child to anything. So how can that be effective and it will be improved? How can that be improved?
Yeah, thank you so much for the question, Rahil. So, as we are social creatures, we do think that relationships are very crucial for all of us, and we have to believe that relationships are crucial for us. But how do you nurture them? How do you build fruitful and nurturing relationships? That is very important. It is good to have a lot of friends, but the quality of your friends do matter. The quality of the people you are with matters. And how do you build that quality is by having, again, good communication and good listening skills. Listening is a very, very, very important virtue when it comes to building relationships, Because until and unless you do not listen to the opposite person, you will never ever, be able to understand him, will never be able to have that kind of a bond with him, will never be able to trust him. Because where there's a relationship, there should be trust. And only if you listen and you are heard, will you be able to have that kind of a bonding. So I would give a few tips for all of you who want to improve their, if effectivity in developing their listening skills. So the first thing is that when you're talking to a person, have an eye to eye contact. Don't look idhar udhar, don't take away your attention to something else. Be present, be aware, and have an eye to eye contact. And uh, you know be with that person, whether wo sukh ki baat kar raha hai, dukh ki baat kar raha hai, he's fearful, he's doubtful, whatever it is, whether it's sadness, happiness, be with him, put yourself in his shoes and empathize with him. That is very, very important. Because unless and until you don't know what the person is going through, unless and until you cannot, you know, build that kind of a rapport with that person, that connection with that person, he will not open up with you. You have to have
Absolutely.
a total eye to eye contact and face the person who you're talking to and listen to him carefully, be present, be aware, and avoid all kinds of distractions that you have. It could be your phone, it could be something else. Everything else can stop. But when you're listening to someone, be there, be present. That is one thing I would like to say. The second thing is have an open mind. Because unless and until you do not have an open mind, you tend to get very judgmental about people. You tend to justify yourself thinking you are right and the other person is wrong, or what he did is, not right. Anything it could be, or you can have your own assumptions about the person, but it's not right. When you're listening, you have to be non-judgmental. You have to have an open mind, and only when you have open mind can you give him the right kind of action planned. Whatever he wants to know from you, he can get it from you only if you have an open mind. And he can get more vulnerable only if you have an open mind. So that is again very, very important. Another important tip I would give is do not interrupt when the person is talking. Let him talk, let him finish. Only if he asks you for an opinion, when he asks you for a suggestion, go ahead and give a suggestion. Because what I believe is all the answers are there within you. You just have to ask him the right kind of questions to get that out from him. It is all there. The solutions to all our problems are within us. It is just about figuring out the things that are there within us, unleashing what is there inside us, and overcoming the fears, the doubts that are there within us, the limiting beliefs. So it's very important. And like Suparna said, looking in between the lines, that is very, very important. If suppose I call someone, by the way the person answers my call, or by the way he's communicating, I get to know, I'm reassured whether the person is fine or he's not fine. Even though I'm not seeing him in person, just by the way he's talking to me, I can get to know whether he is happy or whether he's upset or whatever it is. So it's very important to look in between the lines and be aware of the other person's feelings. And be curious. Try to ask a lot of questions. Why, what, how? Because these are the things which will actually make him more vulnerable and make him come to a point where he will have solutions to his own problems. So asking questions as a coach, also all of us should ask questions. Because and as a coach, being a good listener is like the biggest virtue to have. So for all the coaches who are here on this call, please be a good listener and please empathize with the person and ask questions to make sure that the solutions don't give him suggestions, don't give him your opinions until and unless he or she asks for it. But yeah, ask questions, right questions at the right time, open-ended questions, so that the answers come from within, and then it gets even more easier to find solutions. So that is my take on how you can have effective build your effective listening skills through these tips.
Absolutely. I can't say anything beyond this, but I just want to say to people, to our audience, that listening is a skill. Definitely, it's a skill. But why you should listen? Why you should listen to a person? Many a times what happens is a person, they want a recognition. They want to get remembered. They want to feel valued, or you can say, they want to feel appreciated or respected. You have to understand them. Many a times what happens, it's a kind of a need of a person, that they feel comfortable when you are listening to them. So it's not so easy to listen to a person. It's many a times what happens is we are doing a lot of different work, and we are multitasking. When even when someone is talking to us, we are like, we are doing some work, and then somebody's talking to us, and we are doing some of our work. But then, are you really actively listening to them? I think that's one thing which we have to understand, and we have to put a lot of effort in increasing our capacity, or you can say the capability of listening skills in this world. And in this present environment, I think this is one very critical and a major factor we have to improve upon. Okay, so if I ask you, Suparna, um, how can we learn to listen? How can we do that? So, what is your take on that? How can we learn to listen?
I think the tips that Kushi gave just now to
Yeah,
build a relationship, you know, those are the fundamentals of listening. Make eye contact. Don't be judgmental. When you are listening to them, listen with your entire attention. I'm not saying concentration, I'm saying attention. A person, as Rahil very much rightly said, many of us seek validation, right?
Yeah.
We seek validation from our friends, from our parents, from our teachers, from our juniors, from our children, right? From unknown people. We seek validation. And then validation gives us an emotional high. That validation will come only when we learn to listen. If you remember, if it says, no, if you do good to the world, the good will come back to you. This is
yeah,
what everybody says to us, right? Do good and the good will come back to you. It
absolutely.
truly is one of the core mantras that we must remember in our life. आप कहीं पर भी किसी के लिए कहीं अच्छा किया होगा, कोई ना कोई वो अच्छाई आपके पास दौलत की तरह दे जाएगा. It comes as a treasure to you, dear friends. And this is where listening is important. And because of it, you need to learn how to listen. So what are the steps, logical steps to learn how to listen? One, when somebody is talking to you, and if you feel that you have the time to listen to that person, please be with him. If not, politely tell, I do not have the time right now. Can we reconnect sometimes? Nothing wrong in it. Nothing wrong in it. But until unless you tell that and you sit in front of that person with an half-baked mind, and you are thinking about 10 more things, fiddling with your mobile, waiting to understand what's happening, you are actually not giving an iota of respect to the person who's trying to talk to you,
True.
right? So, what happens is, first Paidan is, if you've got time to listen to him, please sit and listen with your full attention. If you do not have, please be verbal, please be vocal, please tell, we'll reconnect. But do not degrade that person, right? That is one point. Second point is, you should have a very large heart.
Yeah,
If you have a large heart, दिल अगर दरिया आपका है, दिल अगर आपका बड़ा है, तो empathy जो खुशी बोल रही थी वो अपने आप आ जाता है, अपने आप आ जाता है. The moment you are an empathetic person, friends, you will not mind to listen to somebody else. And from each story, you will only try to find a morale. And if the person is not seeing that morale, you will go ahead and tell, Arey bhai, you are talking something valuable. Dekho, this is what the world perceives about you. But you are sitting on a different level and thinking that you are in a different point. So when you want to listen to somebody, one, you should have a very large heart. You should be non-judgmental. That is how you learn to listen. You do not, when you are listening, don't think, please. मतलब 4 चीजें हम सोच रहे हैं और एक बंदे को सुन रहे हैं, ऐसा नहीं होता है ना। अगर सुनना है तो सुनिए, लिसन, डोंट बी जजमेंटल, बी वेरी अनबायस्ड। In my last 4 years of being into this educational field, what I have seen, and I have seen it very loud and clear, is students coming back to me whether I teach them or not, and they sit in my cabin and pour their hearts out. And I have asked a couple of them, why do you come and talk to me? I cannot solve your problems. Most of the time they said, ma'am, आप बड़े unbiased हो, आप चुपचाप सुनते हो सिर्फ हमारी बात. You know, what I understood is these boys and girls need somebody who will listen to them. They are unable to talk to their parents about their emotional turmoil. They are under pressure of performance. There are this innumerable amount of useless relationships which are floating around in the world. And then they have to keep their sanity.
Absolutely.
And they tell that every time हम किसी को बोलने जाते हैं वो बोलता है यार ये करो ये करो ये करो, लेकिन कोई आपकी तरह ऐसा चुपचाप बैठ के सुनता नहीं हमें, और फिर बाद में रात को हमसे फोन पे नहीं बात करता. आई डोंट ट्राई टू टॉक टू देम देन. हम सुनते हैं ऐसे. I generally give them a call after a gap of 5, 6, 7 hours. उनका इमोशन भी सेटल हो गया, मेरा इमोशन भी सेटल हो गया. Then maybe I can tell something which is sensible for them. Right? So you need to have that open heart to listen to the world. Listening today is a virtue. It is not art. It is a virtue.
Correct.
ये आप, if very few people have it here, and as Khushi rightly said, all of us are into this huge shift of getting into being a coach, right? That's one thing I used to love about Rohini Mundra, is that when she's listening to your question, she is 100% with you there.
Yes.
100% with you there. Even if you're telling one sentence of a question or you're reeling out 5 minutes, but she is there with you. And she will come immediately and give you an answer, right? I have always said openly, even in front of Rohini, her spunk is what attracts me to her. Her energy, her spunk, her immediate intelligence is what attracts me to her, right? So you see, when she's listening to us, I have seen this many, many times whenever I have been in a webinar or in that mastermind 2 days that we spent with her, is that she listens with total frame. Total frame. We have to learn that. More important, we have to inculcate that in the younger lot. The
Absolutely.
world becomes complicated and complicated with the days go by. Now you see there is so much of difference. All our children are studying online, but 5-year-old also must be studying online. Rahil, I do not know whether your daughter has started studying or not. At
She
least
started. She's in
she
UKG.
started. Now you see, now they're in front of an inanimate tablet or computer screen, and they have to grasp the emotion. They have to grasp what the teacher is telling. Then they have to analyze that, synthesize that, and revert back. An inanimate screen which becomes live only if I listen what the teacher is speaking, not hear. I am hearing, I am eating, I am playing, I am chatting. No. I am listening. This is how the world will change and change and change, and thereby listening becomes critical and critical and critical. This is what I feel. And please don't be judgmental. Have a large heart. दुनिया बहुत बड़ी है. I mean, there is no need to fight. छोटा मोटा fights are useless. There's no need to fight. Have empathy. Let's be humane. And then you'll see how you will learn the art of listening so fast. If we don't listen, then how can we become good human beings? And how can we teach? As a coach, as a speaker, how can we teach? Is my point.
Absolutely. So, if I recap you, I read somewhere, and in fact, many of the training sessions which we heard about active listening, what is an active listening skill? There are 4 steps which are involved, I can say. And the most important thing is first listen, and have a focus into it. And when you're listening, have a question for the person, because asking a question is a kind of a gesture, or you can say that it is a stamp to confirm that you are listening to the person, you're hearing and listening to him. And then there is a third step which you have to do is reflecting, or you can say paraphrasing his question, his entire story, whatever he has told you, and then agreeing to him or her, whoever, whatever they're telling. So this is the fourth step, that you have to agree to them, and then from there you have to take the action. So these are, like, the major four steps in listening skill which we have to have. And if I just tell that, there is a very well versed definition, I can say, which is written about listening, is it's a psychological process of receiving, attending, or constructing meaning from and responding to a spoken or a non-verbal message. So this is a definition which is talking spoken about listening. And majorly, if you tell that there is two types, which we said in the beginning itself, that one is hearing and one is listening. Hearing is a physiological process. Listening is a psychological process. So these two things are really important in
Beautiful. Yeah.
anyone's life. So I think if I ask you, Kushi, if I ask you a last question, what, according to you, is the purpose of listening? What is the purpose of listening?
Yeah. So the purpose of listening is five things I would like to say for this. Firstly, is to show that the opposite person matters. This is the first purpose, to make sure that the opposite person matters, he's respected, and he's not judged. So that would be the first point I would like to say. The purpose of listening is that the opposite person matters. The second thing is that humility. Listen to humble yourself. It is not for others, it is for yourself. As I say, arrogance talks, humility listens. So listen to humble yourself. Listening is one way to practice humility, I would say. And to let another person talk his mind to you actively. So that is the second virtue of being a good listener. Again, third thing is clarity. Listen to help others find clarity. It's all there within us. Like I said, you don't need to give solutions. You don't need to give your suggestions or opinions, but listen to what he has to say. All the solutions are within him. Be curious to ask the right kind of questions so that he gets clarity from what you are, when he's heard about himself. And the fourth thing is effectiveness. Listen to act effectively. If you do not listen properly, then you cannot give the right kind of actions to the person. And if he does not take the right actions, the outcomes will be disastrous. So listen to have that kind of an effective communication with him, that kind of an effective, bonding with him, so that it's very important that he takes the right kind of steps for him to move further in life. And the fifth thing is, again, like I said, ask questions, be curious, ask the whys, the hows, and what he could learn out of this experience, how this happened. The why and the how is really important, because these kind of questions really, what do I say, probe a lot of thinking from the opposite person. So when he's probed to answer these kind of questions, he will find solutions for himself. So be curious to know what he's learned from the certain situation, or how he's overcome it, why he went through that, what went wrong, what he could learn out of his mistakes. These are kind of questions to ask the person, so that he finds solutions for himself and he can overcome these. So these are the five things I would say is the purpose of listening. So all of your ladies and gentlemen, please be a good listener, because listening is, like Suparna said, is a virtue. It is supposed to be in all of us. And if we can inculcate in our day-to-day life, if we form the habit of listening, then definitely it can become a great virtue for all of us, and we can be a helping hand to the world and make a difference to at least few people in our lives. At least जो हमारे near and dear ones हैं, जिनको help चाहिए, we can be a great help for them. So please be a good listener.
Absolutely. That's really wonderfully put, Kushi. I'm really happy that, about listening, about the power of listening. We are able to talk so many things. I think I can see a lot of questions are pouring down. I will definitely ask those questions also to you guys. Before that, I just wanted to say that there are five types of listening which we have. One is a discriminative type of listening, which is like listening between the lines. We just listen and we ignore few facts. So that is one type of listening. Another one is a comprehensive listening, which is like comprehensive, take everything and not evaluate or not uh, do any kind of an action to it. So that's one way of listening. Another way of listening is appreciative listening. Appreciative listening is a pleasure. It's like you're enjoying the talk, or you're listening to the person, you're enjoying the person. So that's appreciative listening. Another one, the fourth one, is empathetic listening. As you said, it's one of the very important factor, that empathetic listening is to support, help, and comfort the person. So empathy is very much important and very much needed in this world right now. In the kind of situation we are having and the kind of situation we are undergoing, empathy is at most important. And the fifth one is a critical listening. Critical listening is something like you're analyzing for assigning the worth of it, or you're thinking what exactly it is, and it's a lot of critical thinking and upside downside everything you are doing that. So that's a critical type of listening. So these are the five types of listening, ladies and gentlemen. Before I wrap up the sessions, there are a few questions from the audience. I will be okay. So there are a few questions. I will just read it down for you. The first question we have from Manisha. Manisha asks that how does a tone impact on a person's way of understanding when he or she listens to you? Does it have an impact, or you can say how much of difference does it make? So, Suparna, would you like to answer this? I will repeat the question. How does the tone of a person impacts on the way of understanding when they are listening to person?
100% it impacts Manisha, because uh, if I'm talking to you, Manisha, today, and you tell I don't have time, one way of telling a tone, I don't
Yeah.
have time. Another way of telling is, hey buddy, I don't have time, but let's reconnect. Tone, simple body language. If we do not have control on our tone, then the whole game is out of our hands, totally out of our hands. Particularly when you are dealing with a person who is very angry, somebody who is very angry, and he or she wants to, pour out his heart, but lot in an aggressive tone. Now, if the opposite person, the samne wala, also starts taking an aggressive stand and the tone becomes aggressive, then the game is lost. None of us are listening to either of us, right?
Yeah.
So, a tone is very, very important, particularly if, let's take another example. Somebody has been very successful, okay, and he wants to share his success with you, and you are a tad jealous about it. Let's be honest, we get jealous, okay? We are tad jealous about it. And our turn, acha, theek hai, ye to hota hi rehta hai. Okay? You love the game, lady, because that person walked up to you to share his happiness. That's because he respects you. That's because he likes you. That's because he feels you're somebody who can understand his thought or her thought. And at that point of time, if our tone is, "Arey yaar, ye to har aadmi karta hai, everybody does this, so what big deal is there?" You're gone. But instead, if you tell, nice, good, maybe in your judgmental level, it's not that big a deal. But what is wrong in telling a positive word? What is wrong in putting out a positive tone? What is wrong in making somebody happy? You know, somebody has come to share his happiness. Even if you're jealous, put that at the back of your mind. Tackle it later on. At this point, have a positive tone. If somebody has come to tell their dukh, your child is nagging, and you have to take care of that nag, your tone will make his day and your day too. Tone is everything, dear friends. Body language is everything.
Absolutely. So that's really, really important. So tone is important. Your body language is important. So you have to understand when you are listening to a person, do take a very, very precautionary way of listening to a person. You don't just react to the situation. You have to put on your effort. You have to listen to a person with full 100% of attention. So that's very important. The other question which I have is from Charu. Over to you, Khushi. The
Yeah.
question from Charu is, what's happening nowadays in this today's world uh, about listening? So the virtue is deteriorating. What, in your view, what do you think it is? Why it is deteriorating?
Yeah, like I said, it is deteriorating because we're not making an effort from our side. We think our lives are more important these days. We think we become more selfish. We become self-centered. It's not bad to be selfish, I would say, or self-centered, but be in a positive way, not in a negative way that the opposite person tends to hate you. Not in a negative way so that the opposite person cannot connect with you. Don't put across the negative vibes. Be a positive person, be a jovial person, and be a person with a lot of optimism. Because when you are optimistic, obviously anybody would love to talk to a happy person, isn't it? So have that virtue. Be happy. Be Forget about all your sorrows. Be in the present moment. Count your blessings. And like I always say, that remember that show gratitude, and remember that people are more underprivileged than you are. So whatever you have, be happy with that, because that is going to spread happiness, because I believe happiness is contagious. So once you are a cheerful, happy person, people will automatically try to connect with you, and people will automatically come to empathize with you. And have an open heart and open mind. Like I said, these days we are not aware of other people's feelings and thoughts, and we're very judgmental. So like I said, please be open minded and have an open heart. Accept things, accept the other person, put yourself into the other person's shoe, and remember that connect to what he has to say. Put yourself in his position, and find what truly the problem is and help him come out of it. That is something lacking. So we all should inculcate this habit of listening and being a positive person so that people can connect to you.
Absolutely. So that's really important, Kushi. That's a very right chord you have hit. The next question we have is from Ashwini. Ashwini asked that world has moved virtual. Now, these days, how do you ascertain that the other person is listening and not just hearing? The similar kind of a question we have got from Rashmi, and she asks a question that how do you handle a pseudo listening and the filtered listening over a digital platform? Before I give this question to both of you, I would like to say one thing and add here is there is something which we have to understand very importantly, that in a virtual mode, it is definitely difficult to understand whether the person is listening or not listening, whether it is like a pseudo listening or if it is the filtered listening. What they are doing, it's definitely not possible. But what possible thing we can do is, we have something called camera, right? The cameras are there in front of you, so if you can tell the person to switch on their camera, and you can definitely understand from their body language, from their understanding, when you're seeing them on screen, if you're able to see what kind of a body language they have, I think that is one thing you can understand, and you can filter what is pseudo listening and what is whether they are really listening or not listening to you. So that is one thing which you can understand. So apart from this, Suparna and Kushi, Anything which you want to add to this point?
Yeah, definitely. See, if we are asking about the students category, let me put it first of all. Let's come to the executives and the official category a tad later. The students category, first thing, let us understand the teacher also needs to be equally equipped to hold the attention of the students. Equally equipped. We need to equip ourselves in a different format today when we are talking online to a group of 60 students, right? We need to know how to utilize different platforms. We need to know how to put up our PPTs, how to create breakaway rooms, how to get in debates, how to get into discussion rooms, how to use the whiteboard, how to use the doodle. I mean, technology has given us so many tools. If we can mix and match these things and make the class lively for the students, put some films if you want. Put some films, add some doodles, draw it, use your blackboard, do anything you want to do. But just do not sit there and start giving a lecture. Right. Now, obviously, the children will then start hearing, not listening to you. The moment you put them, talk to them for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, put them into a reactive mode, give them breakaway classes, get them into discussion. Hey, this is your topic. And the teacher can visit each class individually without the groups intermingling. So you are keeping them on their toes. You're making them listen to you. These are hard facts of how you can make them listen and not just hear. My son, it is 11th, so obviously now they are grown-up boys. They can make out when the teacher is just speaking the class. You know, क्या बोल रहे हैं मैम, ये तो मिलता ही है. See, the internet is there, the books are there, children can read from there. But when the teacher personally comes onto an online platform, the expectation of the students are much more. That she will give something more. The books are there. I am sitting with an open book. In fact, they would have read, most of the children nowadays read it priorly and then enter the online classroom so that they're ready with their questions, the bright ones at least. And if some children are not doing it, it's the job of the parents to inculcate this. If you got a class on XYZ subject, please read about it and get into the class. You will enjoy it better. This is about the student load. As far as pseudo listening is concerned, throw a googly at them when you're talking. As simple as that. Make it reactive. Make it humorous. Make them get into small group debates. Make them discuss. Make them participate. The word is participate. The moment you do that, pseudo listening obviously cannot stay for a very long time. They will slowly come out and get into active mode of listening. This is what I feel.
One more thing I would like to add. Yeah. One more thing I would like to add is that when you're listening, try and say stories to people. Because one way of connecting to whatever they have to say, whether it could be happiness, it could be sadness, or just say that I remember once I was also in a position where you were in, or something like that. So they get more connected to you, and stories are a brilliant way, especially for children. I would really suggest, if there are parents on this call here today, please go ahead, share stories, life skill stories, share stories with them, and especially during bedtime, because that is the time when the child goes into the subconscious mind. Anything he would have done to upset you, or he would have thrown tantrums, or whatever he would have done, it's the right time to, tell him stories during bedtime and put him to sleep, so that he will remember what he's done wrong, and he will try and, correct himself later. So one more, it could be with adults also. It's the same thing with us. So try and say stories, try and say that I really understand. I had a friend of mine also who had gone through this, or I myself had gone through this. Try connecting this way, because this gets much easier, and the person realizes that if she's gone through, she will empathize with me better. If she's heard something similar like this, she will empathize with me better. This is another way we could communicate.
True. So there is another question from Ashwini. I think this question has been answered. He asks that distraction in between is obvious. How, as a communicator, can you avoid distraction in listeners? But I think, Ashwini, we can say very well that Suparna and Kushi has answered this question. You have to break away sessions. You have to give some stories in between. Don't be, focusing on your topic itself. Have some kind of discussion and make interactive than being a monologue kind of a session. Make it a dialogue session so that people are involved and engaged in your session. So that's one of the way which you can avoid the distractions in your session. And sometimes distractions, definitely there is a percentage of that distraction which will be always there, so you can't help that. So that's the answer for that. There is one question which has come from Bhuvi. Bhuvi asks that everyone focuses on speaking, even if it does not make sense for the speaker. Why is effective listening such a forgotten skill in today's world, which nobody likes to work upon? This is, I think, a wonderful question from Bhuvi. Who would like to go first? Suparna, can you?
Yeah.
Bhube, you have answered your question actually. Why is effective listening such a forgotten skill in today's world, which nobody likes to work upon? So let's work upon it. That's what we are talking for the past hour, isn't it? That please, all of us, however much we can, personally I mean, those who are listening to us today, and I see quite a good number of them, I'm so happy about it. And I would say that please inculcate it within our own selves. The moment you start listening, friends in and around you will start observing you. You will have to give very, very subtle nuances of talking to them, not in terms of gyan, but in terms of observation, in terms of putting just a one word out that bhaiya sun to lo pehle. Right? If you just start inculcate, and at your home, as a mother, I can tell, at my home, I try to listen as much as possible. Yes, I can flare up at sometimes. That's, I think, given to any one of us. But listen. The moment they see their mother, their father listening to them, the children also will get that environment. Why at home? In your class, in your cabin, in your offices. Salons are such a lovely place to talk, unjudgmental talk. Kushi, don't you think so?
Yes,
I used to go to a salon in Dehradun, and first time I walked in there, a guy came to cut my hair, and I looked at him and I said, "Yeah, tum katoge." He said, "Ma'am, ek baar karwa ke dekho." And he started talking about his life in the pahads. He asked me first, "आप कहाँ के हो? आप हमारे salon में पहली बार आ रहे हो?" I said, "हम अभी बैंगलोर से देहरादून आए." Then he said, "पहाड़ों की कहानी सुनो मैम." And 2 hours just gone. And it's just not with me. He cut my hair and goes to the next person, tries to find out what that person is all about, and starts talking to that person. And salons are beautiful place if you can make the connect, for unjudgmental talk. Because he knows this lady, this man will go out. If he comes again, it is his credibility actually. He's building that bridge. Bhuvi, we need to build that bridge. That bridge of communication is very, very important, dear ones, for all of you who are listening to us. And if you want to build that bridge, you have to listen. Don't expect सामने वाला आपको listen करेगा. Stop expecting in life. You will see life is good.
Yeah.
That's my feel, my take.
Yeah.
What about you, Kushi? How do you think it is
Yeah,
important?
it's just one and the same. What Suparna said, it's just that what we've been doing from the past 1 hour. Put yourself into the other person's shoe and listen, because it's a great virtue to have. And these days we have, and you can always come to me. I'm always available. You can come to me. I will be there to listen to anybody who's here on this call. I really love empathizing with people and
All of us, I
talking
think
to
all three
people.
of us.
All
Yes.
of us, yeah.
Yes.
All of us. So, and I also believe that when you listen, you learn.
Yes.
When you
Absolutely.
listen, you learn. It is a very, I believe in, talking to people, getting to know people, listening to their stories and learning at least one thing out of it. So
That's exactly
that's
what I was telling, that when
yeah,
somebody is talking to you, you will find a morale in that.
yeah,
You will only
exactly.
find a morale in that. That's because of your positive attitude. That's
Attitude,
because
yeah,
of your virtue of listening.
yeah,
You will be able
yes,
to do that.
yes.
Right? So I want to tell
Absolutely.
a small story here, very small
Yeah,
story.
yeah, sure.
When I was in my graduations, we used to have one student studying with us, a guy, uh, but his father was a cobbler who used to sit right in front of our college. Okay? The boy was extremely brilliant. I still remember his name. His name was Kuman Rathod. Okay? As it happens, that is an age when you want to mingle with the opposite sex. No girl would want to talk to her. So I spoke to my father one day, and I told him that there's a boy in our class, his name is Kuman. His father is a cobbler, but nobody wants to talk to him, Dad. So my dad said, "What is wrong? He has two eyes like you, he has a brain like you, he has a nose like you, he has got ears. Does he have anything which is different than you? Rather than his father being a cobbler and mending your own shoes." That gentleman is actually making life easier for each and every one of you. The first thing he told me as his daughter, a growing up daughter, is that go tomorrow morning, go and sit with him on his bench. Move out of your bench. Go and sit with Kuman. Call him home. Let's have a chat. You know? So these are the things, these are the values that live in you. Kuman came to our house only once in his lifetime, and my father had a very long chat with him. Before he left, Kuman said, "Uncle, nobody has spoken to us like this ever before." So Uncle said, "The whole family is there to speak to you, dear sir. Anytime you want, you can come down to my house. You can come right on my daughter's bike. I will not mind it." He didn't have a bike, he used to travel by bus. Now, these small valuable lessons we need to share with our younger lot. We need to speak as I'm speaking right now. Value of life, empathy, large heartedness is something, the moment you learn, you get something from every story, as Kushi and Rahil have been telling. You learn to
Absolutely.
listen.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So the next question we have from Ashwini again is asking, is communication an art or a science? In my understanding, I would like to take this last.
Please.
What is your understanding, Kushi? Is communication
Uh,
an art or a science?
it's a virtue, I would say. It's a great virtue to have. It's a talent, I would say. You can enhance that talent in you.
Great. What about you, Suparna? What do you say?
If you do not communicate, you can't be happy. Point number one, Ashwini. Right? Communication is the path to happiness. Happiness is an art and science both. You have to learn to make yourself happy. And to be happy, you need to communicate about your feelings to the world, both positively, very less negatively, but make your stand. You have to make your stand. You have to have a good opinion. How you put the opinion depends upon your tone and your body language. But if you do not communicate, you are lost. You could be one of the most priceless person to your parents, but you are not communicating to them. What's the use? You must be one of the best office colleague, but you are not communicating. But you get rank on rank on rank, you are getting promoted, but you do not communicate. What is the use? Art or science is the way you react to the communication in a particular situation. When you have to tactfully do it, you have to do it scientific. You have to do it with a lot of science in your mind. And if it's something you're doing it from the bottom of your soul with a happy heart, it's an art. It's both,
Absolutely.
dear. Ashwini Joshi.
And I
Thank
would
you for the
also
question.
add to this. It's a skill also. I believe it's a skill which can
Yes,
be learned.
exactly.
Yes, it
I
can
was
be
Communication
about to
is
learned.
a
say that.
skill. It
Yes.
can be learned.
Exactly. The point is like, it's an art, definitely, because communication can be learned. In fact, listening or communication, everything is one type of a skill which can be learned. It's an art which you have to learn. And science is because the entire human structure, human body is made of the smallest of the atoms, and atoms are science. So communication and the entire theory is it's intact together. The art and the science is always hand in hand in the communication and a listening skill. So this is a great question from Ashwini. The next question I have got from Mr. DC Jain. He asked that Sherman is a title given to a person in Jainism, and this is a subject taught in Jainism. Okay, a subject taught in Jainism. Can't we have a coaching for listening? As Kushi and you are a coach of your fields. So he's asking that can't we have a coaching for listening?
Okay, so
Good
he's my
idea,
father, let
Mr.
me
Jain.
say.
Good
Uh,
idea, Mr. Jain.
Rahil, he's my father.
Oh, okay. Okay, Kushi.
Can't we
Yes,
have a coaching for listening? This is a coaching session that we're doing on listening.
absolutely, exactly. Sir, I think this is the same coaching session which we are doing for the people who are listening for us from last 1.5 hour. What we are talking is definitely what you all are doing is listening. So that's a skill which you are learning. That's
Yeah,
absolutely because you are not talking, you are listening to us. Because we three are talking to you on the virtual platform. You are able to see us. We are not able to see you, but you are listening. So that's a coaching. What we are doing, you are undergoing a coaching. So great question. Thank you so much, sir. There is uh, okay. So great. So there is no more questions. So
Rahil, I would
yeah,
like,
yeah,
can I, with your permission, can I make
yeah,
two
yeah.
announcements
Sure,
to
sure,
all
sure.
the listeners? One, Kushi has just published a book. Let's buy it.
I
Okay.
have done it.
All,
I have done it yesterday. I have purchased
yes.
it.
I have not yet.
making
I
it
have to buy it. Yes. That's a book. I think we have got a platform. We must spread this news.
Yeah.
Please buy this book. She's written it well, is what I hear. And there is one more of our friend who has also released a book, Megha Darda's book.
Mega Dada,
Yeah.
cracking the
Fear,
code. Fear,
cracking. Yeah. Fear
cracking the
factor.
fear code.
Yes.
Cracking the fear code.
That's another book. I think Megha also must get the full credit for doing it fast.
Yeah.
That's another thing. And the third point I would like to say is I have got a YouTube channel which is called The Art and Science of Happiness. I would be very, very happy if you guys log on to YouTube, as our gentleman Rahil puts it, subscribe it, share it, comment it. I'll be very happy. Do log in there and do see. Just about 2 or 3 videos are there. The more you prompt us, the more you ask us questions, the more we get subjects to talk and write. Dear audience, you are the precursor. We would love to hear from you.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So just to close, Kushi, can you show your book?
Yeah. Yeah.
Kushi
Yeah.
Unlimited.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is a book which is written by Kushi. The book title is Kushi Unlimited, and this book I have just started. The first page. I don't want to say a lot of things, but I would say one thing that it's a book about happiness and how you can develop, how you can learn, and what are the things which are missing in our life. Those are the some critical things which are missing in our life. That's all about that. So happiness as a whole is a very big title or a very big subject, but then this book is written in a very comprehensive manner. Everything has been included there. I can vouch for that. That's Kushi Unlimited. Please do go and buy that book. There is another book which our friend has written. Megha Darda is our friend. She has written a book called Cracking the Fear Code. So please do buy that as well. It's a great book. It's about fear and how a village girl came to a city and how she cracked that fear code in her life. So that's the book. Okay, great. So before closing the session, I would like to recap the entire session in few words. I can say the first thing what we have learned here and what we spoke here is that listening is the most powerful form of acknowledgement, a way of saying that you are important, you are great. This is a way of acknowledging the person. The second thing what we learned today is listening builds a stronger relationship. It creates a desire to cooperate among people because they feel accepted and acknowledged. So this is the second learning which we had. And third learning which we had is listening promotes being heard. Means seek first to understand, then to understood. I would repeat, seek first to understand, then be understood. So that's one of the important learning what we had today. The other learning which we had is listening creates an acceptance and openness because it conveys the message that I'm not judging you. I'm not judging you, I'm listening to you with my full attention. So that's one of the important thing which we need to do. Another thing which we spoke and learned about is listening leads to learning, and learning is very important. It's a skill which you need to learn, and it's something that openness encourage the personal growth and the learning process in your life. That's one of the important thing. The other important thing which we learned today is listening reduces the stress and the tension from our life. So listening is very, very important. It minimizes the confusion and misunderstanding. The It eliminates the stress and the tension from a person's mind. Whoever is sharing some kind of a feeling or a sorrow or whatsoever it is, if you are listening to them with the full attention span given to them, asking some kind of a questions and paraphrasing them, agreeing to them, being with them, and then you are taking an action to it, that's something which helps the person reduce the stress and the tension from their mind. So a lot of current situation which is going on in people, I think in fact there is a new thing which just recently started on Facebook and on the pages we after the Sushant's death. So that's one thing, the depression. So that's going to help people if you listen to them. So that's one very important fact which I want to say. Another last but not the least, a very, very critical thing which I can say is listening is critical in conflict resolutions. When there is a conflict, you need to listen to people from the both sides. What happens is uh, to be successful, the resolution depends on being non anxious presence. I would repeat, successful resolution depends on being a non anxious presence. What you will listen from both the parties and make a resolution for both the people is something which will help in resolving any conflicts. So this is the entire session recapitulated in few of the learnings what we had in today's session. I hope you all enjoyed. I would like to listen from Suparna and Kushi. How was the session and how did you enjoy it? How was it?
Yeah, so it
Wonderful.
was amazing. It was amazing. I hope people found value in what we had to say because we just wanted to spread the awareness that listening is a great virtue and all of us should begin to at least make it a habit on a day to day basis to listen to people in and around us, empathize with them. And this is why we came up with this topic. I hope you all found value and we're always there, the three of us, to serve you as coaches. We do have the virtue of being great listeners. So anybody has any problem, please feel free to contact any of us. Thank you so much.
Yes. Suparna,
Thank
how
you
about
so
you?
much. Rahil, I love the way you encapsulated the last 1.5
Yeah.
hour. I mean, that's amazing. That's just amazing. Okay. And yes, I think all three of us have given our opinions on why listening is important in life. Uh, we understand this. I think we three of us also are on the absolute same wavelength at this point of time. That's why the vibe is so good. I felt the vibe in the talk of all the three of us is so very positive, so very smooth, so very seamless that I'm sure the audience would have given some reactions. Uh, I feel, I think one of the strongest shows where you got so many questions.
Definitely,
And
definitely.
yeah, so thank you so much for inviting me. Kushi has taken this initiative to call me in, and Rahil, I would love to come back again and let us pick up topics because I see the wavelength to be very nice and seamless, you know. So we
Yes.
can keep on talking on various topics. Let's do that. And thank you so much for being there, audience. Good night. Shabba khair. Have a good evening. Bangalore is beautiful. From wherever you are listening, I hope you have a good evening. Thank you so much.
Great. There is a lot of response which are coming from people. People are really enjoyed the session. They are telling
Uh-huh.
a lot of good comments in the comment section. The wonderful session, excellent session, a great discussion. A lot of people are clapping. In fact, many of our audience which were there, they were there from last 1.5 hours, I think.
Great.
That is the constant audience which we had. They are there till the end.
Wow.
Wonderful session,
Big round
wonderful
of
people.
applause for all of
All
you.
you people are really good, really great, and awesome people. The only thing which I want to say is, the entire session which we did was we were listening to each other and you were listening to us. So that's
Yes.
the power of listening. So that's
Yes.
one thing which all of us want to and should learn. That's what I want to close my remarks with.
Thank you so much. Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for being a wonderful audience. Thank you, both of you, Suparna and Kushi. Thank you for being there. I really enjoyed it thoroughly.
We should be back. We should
Yeah,
be back again
definitely.
with
We'll
another
be back.
topic.
Yes, we will
We'll
be
be
back
back.
again with wonderful topic again, and we will discuss on same things. Maybe in a different way or maybe a talk. Let's see how we will go.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
done.
Bye
Thank
Thank
bye.
you so
you.
much.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Good
Much
night.